Two Ukrainian MiG-29s raced through a valley at 100 meters, afterburners screaming as a Russian Su-30 vectors towards them from 40 kilometers away. In 15 minutes, they'll release their AASM Hammer bombs on a Russian UAV command post that's been coordinating drone strikes against civilian infrastructure for weeks. But first, they have to survive the gauntlet of S-400s, Tor-M2s, and Buk-M3s that stand between them and the target. If they fail, Ukrainian cities are going to get pummeled in the next few hours. They have to stop them now. The formation climbs to 200 meters and turns northeast, using the rolling hills of Sumy Oblast to mask their approach. Every meter of this route has been carefully planned to exploit gaps in Russian radar coverage, identified through months of electronic reconnaissance. As they cross into the contested border region, both pilots know they're entering one of the most dangerous patches of sky on Earth. The first indication of trouble comes from an unexpected source. A Russian S-400 battalion, New Kursk, activates its 92 N6E gravestone radar, a long-range surveillance system mounted on a truck-sized turret. The radar's phased array, made up of hundreds of tiny antenna elements, scans the sky electronically without moving parts, sweeping a wide arc across the horizon. Its signal washes over the MiG-29s at 140 meters. At this range, the radar can't achieve a weapons quality track on the small fighters flying low, but it detects something. The anomaly gets flagged for investigation. The S-400's detection alert flows through the integrated air defense network to a Russian Su-30 fighter patrol 80 kilometers away. The fighter pilot, already airborne on dawn patrol, receives vectors toward the anomaly. He doesn't need to achieve visual identification. He'll let his Barzar radar you see here resolve low-flying targets against the terrain, especially if they pop up even briefly. Meanwhile, 20 kilometers ahead of the MiG-29s, a Ukrainian Bayraktar TB2 drone orbits at 18,000 feet. Its MX-15D electro-optical sensor has been watching the target area for 6 hours, documenting every movement. The drone operator, sitting in a control van near Sumy, has counted 14 Orlan 10 reconnaissance drones launching from a converted agricultural building. Each launch confirms what Ukrainian intelligence suspected. This is a major drone hub. The TB2's presence serves a dual purpose. Its satellite communication link provides real-time targeting updates to the approaching MiG-29s, but more importantly, it serves as bait. Russian air defenses focus on shooting down these drones, often revealing their positions in the process. Today, a Panzer S-1 battery near Tyotkino takes the bait. The system's radar illuminates to track the TB2, broadcasting its location to Ukrainian electronic warfare assets. The lead MiG-29 sees the Panzer's radar spike on his SPO-15 threat receiver and adjusts course 5 degrees east. This minor deviation puts a low ridgeline between his aircraft and the SAM site, breaking the line of sight. But the maneuver costs fuel and time, forcing him to increase throttle and maintain the strike timeline. The louder engine noise propagates through the morning air. A legacy Russian ground-based acoustic sensor, similar to Cold War-era Arcus systems, picks up the jet noise at 30 kilometers. These passive systems can't provide precise targeting data, but they confirm that hostile aircraft are approaching from the southwest. The information flows to the sector command, where a colonel orders all air defenses to the highest readiness. Suddenly, every radar operator in eastern Kursk Oblast starts searching their assigned sectors with renewed intensity. The Su-30 pilot receives updated vectors from ground control. His radar is still searching the empty sky, but the acoustic detection narrows the search box. He descends to 5,000 meters and accelerates to Mach 1.2, positioning for a high-speed intercept. In 4 minutes, he'll be within his R-77 missile range. The Ukrainian pilots have less time than they think. Meanwhile, 15 kilometers from Tyotkino, a lead MiG-29 pilot faces a critical decision. The mission calls for weapon release at 8,000 feet to maximize the Hammer's glide range, but climbing means exposing themselves to every air defense system in the region. The SPO-15 threat receiver already knows multiple search radars painting them. In 30 seconds, some of those will transition to track mode. The Ukrainian TB2 drone overhead suddenly breaks hard left. Its operator has spotted the Tor-M2 battery powering up in a tree line below. This mobile SAM system is the real threat. Unlike older systems that need continuous radar lock, the Tor can acquire, track, and engage in under 8 seconds. Its 9 M338 missiles are specifically designed to take out low-flying aircraft in cluttered environments. The lead MiG initiates a hard turn away from the Tor's position. However, this defensive maneuver plays right into the Russians' hands. By forcing the MiG-29s to deviate from their planned route, the Tor operator has pushed them toward another threat, a Buk-M3 battery positioned on their eastern flank. It's a classic SAM trap, using one system to flush targets toward another. The wingman spots the trap first. His radar warning system shows the Buk's 9S-36M radar transitioning from search to track mode. The modern phased array system can engage targets at 70 kilometers, and they're well within that range. But the Ukrainian pilots have trained for this. Instead of running, they turn toward the threat and accelerate, closing the distance while dumping chaff. This aggressive maneuver confuses the Buk's engagement computer. The system expects targets to flee, not attack. By the time the operator adjusts, the MiG-29s have passed inside the minimum engagement range. But the evasive maneuvering has cost them altitude and airspeed, critical energy that they need for weapons release. The TB2 drone operator sees the fighter's predicament and takes action. He commands the drone to activate its radar altimeter and weather radar, creating electronic noise that floods Russian receivers. It's not sophisticated jamming, but it's enough to degrade radar performance for a few crucial seconds. The Tor operator loses track in the clutter, his screen filled with false returns. Using this electronic smokescreen, the lead MiG-29 executes a zoom climb to 8,000 feet. At the apex, moving just above stall speed, he pickles 2 Hammer bombs in rapid succession. The weapons separate cleanly, their rocket motors igniting after a 2-second delay. The pilot immediately bunts forward, trading altitude for airspeed as his radar warning receiver screams new alerts. The Hammer bomb's tri-mode guidance systems activate during flight. GPS provides primary navigation, but Russian jamming floods the L1 and L2 frequencies, rendering them unusable. The weapons automatically switch to inertial navigation, their ring laser gyroscopes maintaining course accuracy within 3 meters. As they approach the target, the infrared seekers activate, searching for the heat signatures identified by the TB2 drone. The second MiG-29 reaches release altitude just as a Buk-M3 battery achieves solid lock. The pilot has 5 seconds before missile launch. He ripples both hammers at the secondary target, a house Ukrainian intelligence has identified as a drone operator safe house. The weapons barely clear the aircraft before he snaps into a 7G diving turn, punching chaff and flares. 2 9M317M missiles launch from the Buk launcher, accelerating to Mach 4 within seconds. These aren't the old semi-active missiles. They use active radar homing and can pull an insane amount of Gs in their terminal phase. The MiG pilot watches them climb on his missile approach warning system. At current speed and altitude, he's got 22 seconds. He executes a last-ditch maneuver, a vertical dive combined with aileron rolls that creates a corkscrew flight path. The technique forces missiles to constantly recalculate lead angles while the aircraft's rapidly changing aspect degrades radar returns. Combined with continuous chaff deployment, it creates enough tracking errors to defeat the first missile. The second missile, launched 3 seconds after the first, has learned from the first failure. Its seeker head predicts the spiral pattern and adjusts accordingly. With impact imminent, the pilot pulls maximum Gs to reverse the spiral direction. The missile tries to follow but runs out of energy, its proximity fuse detonating 30 meters away. Shrapnel peppers the MiG's tail section, but the engine keeps running. Both aircraft race toward Ukrainian airspace at treetop height, their Hammer bombs now terminal beyond recall. Behind them, that Su-30 fighter has closed to 40 kilometers and achieved radar lock. But while the pilots fought for their lives, this was nothing compared to what happened next. The lead pilot checks his fuel, 2,100 kilograms remaining, enough for 7 minutes at this power setting. The target lies 4 minutes away, but the Su-30 pilot has just acquired a good lock. His SPO-15 explodes with warnings. 2 R-77 active radar missiles have separated from the Su-30, their motors driving them to Mach 4. These modern weapons don't need continuous guidance. Once launched, their active seekers hunt autonomously. The Ukrainian pilots face a terrible choice: climb and maneuver to defeat the missiles, but expose themselves to SAMs, or stay low and hope terrain masking disrupts the missile track. They choose to stay low. The morning sun, now climbing above the horizon, provides unexpected salvation. The lead pilot banks hard right, placing the sun directly behind his aircraft. The R-77 Seeker, designed to filter out ground clutter, suddenly faces a massive infrared source. The pilot adds to the confusion by dispensing flares in a climbing spiral, creating a ladder of heat sources between his aircraft and the sun. The first missile's algorithms struggle to discriminate between the flares, the aircraft, and the sun. It selects the brightest target, the sun itself, and climbs toward infinity. But the second missile, launched just 3 seconds later, has learned from telemetry shared before the first went off course. It ignores the sun and flares, boring in on the MiG's engine heat. The wingman's radar warning receiver screams urgent tones. The missile closes at frightening speed, impact in 6 seconds. At the last moment, he performs a modified Cobra maneuver, pulling the nose vertical while chopping throttles. The MiG hangs in the air like a hockey stick, its heat signature momentarily disappearing. The R-77 overshoots by meters, its proximity fuse failing to detect the nearly stationary target. As the missile passes, the pilot slams the throttles forward and dives for the deck. But the maneuver alerts every Russian air defense system to their location. An S-400 battalion commander monitoring the engagement sees an opportunity. At 90 kilometers, he can't achieve a solid track on the MiGs, but he can force them to maneuver. He orders a salvo launch of 4 48N6DM missiles in barrage mode. The massive SAMs climb on pillars of smoke, each one carrying a 180-kilogram warhead. They're not aimed at specific aircraft, but programmed to detonate at predetermined points, creating a wall of fragments across the MiG's flight path. It's an expensive tactic. Each missile costs $2 million, but it forces the Ukrainian pilots to burn their last fuel reserves evading. The formation leader analyzes the situation instantly. Flying around the barrage means adding 40 kilometers to their route, impossible with current fuel. Flying through it means threading between explosion zones with meters to spare. Both MiGs drop 50 meters. So low, their jet wash creates rooster tails in farm ponds. The S-400 missiles detonate 500 meters above, their fragments raining down like metallic hail. A chunk of missile casing punches through the lead MiG's wing, but misses critical systems. The target looms ahead. To release their hammers effectively, they need 8,000 feet, the altitude that gives the bombs their maximum glide range. But climbing means becoming predictable targets for every SAM in the area. The lead pilot checks his watch. 745 seconds. In 15 seconds, they must be at release altitude. Both MiGs light afterburners simultaneously, trading their last fuel reserves for altitude. The zoom climb pushes them through 5,000 feet, then 6,000, then 7,000. Every foot gained improves the hammer's glide ratio, but also makes them easier targets. 8,000 feet. The weapon's release computers show green. Target coordinates locked. Range to target, optimal. The only question left is if the bombs will make it due to the electromagnetic firestorm they have to go through first. At 0701 hours, the weapons release sequence begins. 4 AASM Hammers separate from the MiG's wing pylons in rapid succession, their guidance fins deploying instantly. Each bomb weighs 340 kilograms total, a standard Mk-82 500-pound bomb body fitted with the French-designed AASM kit. The kit includes pop-out wings that give it a 15-to-1 glide ratio and a sophisticated tail section containing both guidance and propulsion. A small solid rocket motor in the tail provides 10 seconds of thrust, extending range over 60 kilometers when released from altitude. The tri-mode guidance systems activate immediately. GPS signals are jammed by Russian electronic warfare, forcing switchover to inertial navigation. The INS uses ring laser gyroscopes, accurate to 0.01 degrees per hour, maintaining position data even without satellites. As a backup, each bomb carries an uncooled infrared imaging seeker in its nose, capable of recognizing pre-programmed target shapes even through smoke or light cloud cover. During the 15-second glide, the bomb's flight computers make constant adjustments, tiny fins deflecting to correct trajectory 30 times per second. But the real sophistication lies in the SJU-64 intelligent fuse system. Unlike simple impact or time fuses, this programmable system uses accelerometers to count layers as the bomb penetrates. It measures deceleration patterns. Concrete produces sharp spikes. Empty spaces show no resistance. Steel creates distinct signatures. The armorer programmed each fuse differently. Command center for void detection after 2 floors. Vehicle park for immediate surface burst. Safe house for basement detonation. The first hammer strikes the UAV command post at 0701 and 15 seconds. The hardened steel penetrator, designed to survive impact at 280 meters per second, punches through the roof. The intelligent fuse counts. First floor penetration shows 85 G deceleration, lasting 0.03 seconds. The second floor is similar. Then it detects the void. Deceleration drops to near zero. The fuse waits exactly 0.015 seconds more to position the warhead in the room's center, then fires. The second impact follows in the vehicle park. The fuse was programmed for super quick mode, detonation within 0.003 seconds of first contact. The infrared seeker has guided it onto a fuel truck's hot exhaust stack. Upon impact, the nose crush switch triggers before penetration even begins, creating maximum blast effect against soft targets. The warhead's fragmentation sleeve sprays 6,000 steel fragments in a lethal radius of 35 meters. The third hammer strikes the wooden safe house. The fuse detects minimal resistance. Wood provides only 5 G's deceleration compared to concrete's 85 G's. It counts through floor joists and support beams, waiting for the basement void. The fourth bomb hits the maintenance warehouse, where the fuse identifies the large open space and switches to airburst mode, detonating 3 meters above the floor for maximum fragment dispersal. The destruction unfolds with mathematical precision. The command center's middle floors vaporize, dropping the upper structure straight down. Several racks, control stations, and communications equipment are crushed under thousands of tons of concrete. In the vehicle park, the fuel truck explosion creates a 20-meter fireball that engulfs adjacent control vans, melting satellite dishes and communication arrays. The safe house collapses inward as its basement foundation disappears. The maintenance warehouse becomes a storm of fragments that shred everything inside, including 3 Orlan 10 drones undergoing repair. 12 Orlan 10 drones over Ukraine lose their control signals simultaneously. Without ground station commands, they enter autonomous return mode, beginning lazy spirals back toward a base that now burns beneath pillars of black smoke. The entire drone control network for this sector, command posts, control vans, maintenance facilities, has been eliminated in 30 seconds of precisely coordinated destruction. Bye for now.